Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Queer, Black, and Awkward. If you're wondering what this podcast is about, what I do on this podcast is I interview different members of the LGBT community, and we just have a real talk about issues that are surrounding the issues that we have faced or that are surrounding us. So on today's episode, I have with me Kristen. If you can introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Kristen, and I am the founder of the Dress Code Project. And the Dress Code Project is essentially an alliance of salons that have pledged to create safer spaces within their salons for the LGBTQ plus community so that we can all get fair haircuts.
So maybe give them like a little background of where you're from, or if you're originally from Toronto.
I'm originally from Hamilton, so it's like 45 minutes west of Toronto. And I lived in Toronto for about 13 years now. And I live in the East Toronto area.
The east side. On today's episode, what we're going to discuss is just Kristen's background and a bit about her past, because I do digging on the people that come on here, because there is the trail, on the internet, and I couldn't find much about you on the internet. You're very elusive. So this episode is going to be let the people know if they want to know more about you, get a little bit information, because it was hard to find anything about you. So also, what I do on this podcast is I ask my guest what's their mood and color, just to settle the mood a bit. So I'll start first. My mood right now is, I would say, content, and my color is black. So what's your mood and color?
My mood is, I'd say it's pretty happy today. It's sunny out finally. So that is and it's Sunday, which is nice. Yeah. It's my first day off for the week, so that's always nice. It's a good combination. My color, I don't know, feeling yellow.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know why.
And also, if you would like to know whenever the podcast is going to be up or follow any social media, I have a Facebook and Instagram and SoundCloud. They're all at Queer, Black, and Awkward. So you can just follow that and see when the next episode is going to be up. So on my first question that I'm going to ask you is, was being a hairdresser something you always had in mind growing up?
No, it wasn't. No.
What was your initial?
I went to school for film and television, and I liked it a lot, but I focused on screenwriting, and so I have an education in that, and then I did that for, I guess, years, and then I really didn't love working in the film industry itself. I like writing a lot, but I didn't love working in the film industry. And one day I was talking to my mom, and my mom's a hairstylist. She was like, "You should be a hairdresser. You'd be really good at it." And I was like, I don't know. But then I thought, oh, you know what? Like, that's a nice way to have a pretty steady job and be creative and not be behind a desk every day. Mm-hmm. So I just decided to go to school for it, and that was it.
What did you not like about the film industry, per se, that made you question one day that it was not for you anymore?
Long hours. It was crazy days, and I was a little bit younger, and I didn't love having to commit so much time, because you are there for 12 hours at least, but then you could be there for 16 hours sometimes. So as you start to like think of that, at first you're like, oh, I make decent money and I'm young. And then you're like, I've been here for 16 hours a day for 7 days. I'm not making as much money anymore because I'm here way longer, you know? So, and it was just a lot of, I mean, it was a lot of work, and I'm not, you know, it wasn't work that I was overly passionate about. I love writing, and I think that's what I loved about film. So when I started working in the industry, it was much harder in Canada to get into writing then. So I just thought, this isn't really what I love. This isn't why I did this. And so I wanted to find something that I really loved doing every day.
And you said that, so you were, how long were you working did you speak to your mom and then your mom suggested to be a hairdresser?
Yeah, like I had thought about for a bit. I thought about quitting film and doing something else, but I didn't know what else I would do. And this is what I went to school for, you know? So I was talking to my mom one day. Yeah. And we were outside and she was hanging up laundry on the line in the summer. And she was just like, if you don't like it, do something else. That's when she said, you should think about being a hairstylist. Yeah.
So when she suggested that, did you like right away were you like, okay, yeah, that's a great idea? Or did it take you some time to warm up to the idea?
Yeah, definitely took me some time to warm up to it. But then once I decided I wanted to do it, then I was like, okay, I'm doing this. I registered for school. I moved to Toronto because at the time I owned a house and I was still living in Hamilton. So I registered. I moved there on the weekend, and then I started school like the next day for like a year straight, 5 days a week. And I was older than all the other people that were there because they were kind of starting, like a lot of people that were there were starting their first careers. So they were 19, 20. And I was just sitting in the class the first day and I was like, what the hell did I just do? Yeah.
So when you switched your career, were you like in your mid-20s or 30s?
30s, early 30s.
Early 30s, okay. Oh, you had like a, what is that? Quarter life crisis? Quarter life crisis. So when so then you're like, okay, I'm going to be a hairdresser, and then you moved to Toronto and then you went to school. What other steps did you take in order to like reach to that goal of becoming a hairdresser?
When you're in school, you have to do like apprenticeship in a salon. So I did that while I was in school. Then when I was finished school, I started working in a salon in the Yorkville area of Toronto. And then they were opening up a new salon in the beach area of Toronto. And I volunteered to go there because I was still a junior stylist. So I didn't have like a gigantic clientele that I had to worry about to move. And I was thinking, oh, if I go there, like I'll be one of the newer stylists there, but I'll also be like, there wouldn't be as many senior stylists there, so I'd probably get a clientele pretty quickly. And so I did that, and then I realized that I didn't really like working for other people. And I wanted to open up my own salon. So I was able to kind of build a clientele there and then move a lot of my clients to the salon when I opened up my own.
So where was the salon? Was it in the East End as well that you worked at?
Yeah, it was in the East End in the beach. And I moved like 5 minutes down the road to Leslieville. And that's where I opened the salon.
I have that in common. I hate working for people. So I'm like finding like, okay, what can I do in my life where I don't have to have a boss that's like I have to answer to? Because I feel that it's so annoying. I hate authority. I hate when people tell me what to do. I'm such a free spirit. I need to have my own space to create and do things that I need, and not have someone on top of me like, you have to do this on time or you have this deadline, and it just stresses me out, and I can't even deal with it. So when you moved to Toronto, were you here alone or did you have family?
I just had friends here. I had a cousin here, and I had friends here because I'd already been working in Toronto for a while. So I moved here. I had a house in Hamilton that I sold, and then I lived in an apartment for 2 years in the Village. And then, and then I moved closer to the salon that I opened. Like I bought a house there, and then I moved closer there. So that's where I live still. And
so you were figuring out what you wanted to do in life, at that moment in your time, that moment in your life, were you figuring out your sexuality or your gender at that time, or was it before or during that period or after?
It was way before that. Yeah. I was really aware of the fact that I was not straight. I think I always think, for whatever reason, I don't know that I have any solid evidence of this, but I always say I was 9. And I don't know why. That's just like what I remember. Uh-huh. But I definitely was very young. I knew for sure that I was not straight. And I remember I was outside playing one day with a bunch of kids, and this one boy ran off and he had to go pee. And he went around the corner to go pee. And I was just like, that is just not fair. That sucks. I know. And I wasn't I was a bit envious of it, but it was also for some reason an awareness of my sexuality. It wasn't intriguing in that way. I was intrigued in the sense that there was a part of me that was I wish I could do that, I wish I had that privilege that cisgender males have. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking all of these things. Of course, I didn't use the terminology because I was young, but I was definitely young. And then all through the rest of my life, till I came out, I was very aware of a lot of things. And I remember, again, because back then it was not okay to come out. It wasn't okay to be out in high school. I remember just being very I know that I'm not straight and I can never live that kind of life. That would be terrible.
So you knew when you were in high school. Did you have any secret crushes on any girls, and did you attempt to make any moves? On maybe Valentine's Day, you send a card, or be my Valentine's, and then underneath you put a guy name or something. Did you attempt anything in high school? Because I don't know if you're comfortable saying your age, but around what time exactly? 60? Was it the 70s? 80s?
You're hilarious.
I don't know.
I was in high school. I'm 44.
Okay.
And I was in high school it was 89. Yeah. And yes, I did have probably my first crush on someone, legitimate crush on someone in high school. And we were 15 when we met. And I changed high schools a lot because my parents moved a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I had this friend. Her name is Rachel, and she was trying to get me to come to the high school that she went to because she wanted me to play on the soccer team there. And we played soccer in the summer together. And I was just I don't know. I think I might go back to the first high school that I ever went to because I wanted to switch high schools because I didn't like the one that I was in. So she was trying to get me to know more people from her high school so that I'd like it and then I'd come there. And so one summer we went out, that summer we went out to a movie, and she brought her friend Jennifer. And I remember looking at her and I was just oh my God, this girl is amazing right away. My heart was beating fast. I'm pretty sure my face probably went 1,000 shades of red. And I was just staring at her awkwardly. That was just so awkward. But I don't think she knew. Maybe. And then we became friends. And of course I ended up going to that high school. Okay. Yeah. Because she was there. That's the high school that Jennifer went to. And we became very quick friends, and we did a lot of we did everything together after that. We became best friends for sure. Yeah.
And when you moved to Toronto, did you notice is there a gay scene in Hamilton, and is it as big as it is in Toronto, or more accepting, or what's the difference, the LGBT community in Toronto versus Hamilton?
There's definitely a gay community in Hamilton. I mean, I haven't lived there for a long time, and I am now old, so I don't go out to bars and clubs and that sort of thing that much anymore. But there's definitely a gay community there. And when I was growing up, it was awesome. There was a really amazing club there that we all went to all of the time, and it was fantastic. Everyone would kind of go to that club because they played amazing music and you could just dance all night, and we had a great time. And so when I was probably in my 20, 21, 22, probably until I left Hamilton, so 32, we would always go to this club, not every weekend, but a lot, Mm-hmm. And we would all have a great time there. The whole community was there. But that was the most visible place for the community. Like in Hamilton, there wasn't like a church street like there is in Toronto, like a gayborhood, as we call it, you know? There wasn't like a central, you know, street where a bunch of like queer-owned shops were or anything like that. So it was mostly this club that we went to. Yeah.
And then when you came to Toronto, did you immerse in the scene, or were you just focused on your career?
I was probably both, like, but I was getting used to being a hairstylist because I moved to Toronto and then I was in school and then I became a hairstylist. So I was being a hairstylist, but it was all very new to me. So I wasn't, you know, totally immersed in it. And then, yeah, I lived right in the village. So it was nice to be so close to the community and be able to just like go walk and have a coffee and sit on, you know, on a patio in the community or have a beer or something like that. And then, yeah, a lot of my friends hung out in the village as well.
So you said that you knew like from a very young age, like you were aware of your sexuality. Did you question your gender at the same time, or when did you question your gender?
I think I did at a young age very much question my gender. I felt more like a boy than I did a girl. And I didn't identify with being a girl at all. So I think I went through a stage where I really did feel like I was a boy and I wanted to be a boy. But I think that was being young and inexperienced and not really realizing exactly what I was going through and experimenting a lot. And then I, you know, as you grow and you try things and you like research things and stuff like that, I realized that I am a lesbian and happy being a lesbian, and but definitely on the like more masculine, androgynous, non-binary side of things for sure. Yeah.
Because like now I find like for me, I saw like even in like the last 10 years how even the community itself is so accepting with like different parts of like the LGBT community, and like the shift of how now it's more acceptable to, you know, question your gender, and places are more accessible and acceptable now. Did you did you recognize like the shift in how society accepts people, you know, questioning their gender or in pursuits of being the gender that, you know, they identify with?
Yeah, I think I saw that shift happening because I think when it started to happen, I was already really aware of myself and my own identity, and I was really comfortable with it. And also just doing hair in the community that I was doing hair in, you know, my salon is in a neighborhood where there's a really big queer population, and there was a lot of like whatever you want to call it, gender bending. Like there was a lot of experimenting happening. So I would talk to clients every day that, you know, that one day they were doing this, one day they were doing that, you know, and so I think I started to become really aware because of hair, you know, like people. Our closest and our easiest way of showing our outward identity, however we want that to be, is through being able to like do a physical change. And the easiest, quickest way and least expensive way rather, is by getting a haircut, you know? So like one day I would cut someone's hair really short and they would present in a certain way and like maybe more masculine or non-binary. And then like maybe 6 months later, they'd be like, I want to grow it out, you know? And so you just see this fluidity happening, you know? And now, like, honestly, I think that the future is diversity, and diversity within our community is huge. And we have this, like, we are like on this charge right now where we are just like running hard, you know, and we're leading the way when it comes to that. And we are very much not about labels. And if we are using labels, it's only because people are asking us, you know, but we're definitely on this like uprise where, and we are leading it. Like our community is just killing it right now. Yeah.
I agree too, honestly, because it shows in every facet of life, like in like the LGBT community, music and movies. Like it's getting harder and harder to put stuff into boxes. Like for example, like music, Like there's a lot of artists that combined everything like they're doing. Like they can do in one track it can emulate like pop, R&B, country, all at the same time. Yeah. And it's hard for like, for example, like iTunes, when you have to tag it, it's like alternate pop, R&B, and like they put everything together because it's mashed up together. But then eventually I feel like every kind of label is just it's not gonna be necessary anymore, because my generation and the generation after me, and we just don't care about those kind of details. It's gonna be irrelevant. So I'm really glad about that, to be honest. And so you moved to Toronto and you were learning your craft. One thing a lot of people think in anything they do is that things come fast and they want things fast. And especially in my generation and the generation after me, we have everything like in demand. We have everything like in our phones, and everything is like quick and easy. Like the internet especially is like enables that. So how long did it take you to reach to a level where you can then open up you build enough clientele, and then you can go ahead and feel confident enough to open up your own shop? Like, what exactly is the steps that you did, and how long did it take? Because I cannot stress this enough. Like, nothing is overnight. There's nothing with overnight success. I don't believe in that. So how long did it take you to develop that craft of being a hairdresser and then opening up your shop?
I totally agree with you. Like, I see that a lot too. Just, I talk to people so much every single day, that I hear a constant, like you said, with your generation and stuff like that. Like, I just got out of school and I want to start my job, but I want to make 100,000, and and I want 4 weeks vacation, and and I want the office with the window and blah, blah, blah. And there are cases where sure that happens, but it takes, if you really want to do something and you want to do it well and you want to be able to have sustainability, then you have to put in hard work, because I like what you said, nothing in this world comes for free, and it doesn't come easy. And if it comes easy, you have to wonder if it's worth having. And you have to work hard every single day, and I do, and you do. And it's one of those things where I don't know, like, I don't play the lottery because I don't believe in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it is just pure luck. Yeah. Right? So what am I going to do? Spend $20 a week and play the lottery? But I could put that $20 a week away, and then I might have a lottery winning at the end of the year or something, right? But so it's the same thing. Like, I went to school, and it was hard because I was 32. I was like, oh, I'm going to start my career over again, and I'm 32. I'm going to go to school again. I'm going to pay for that again. All of these things, you like get to a certain level, and then you're like going to start, it's like get to the bottom, go right back down, And so it doesn't come quick or easy, that's for sure. I worked hard to get where I was. I did a lot to do what I could do to make myself known and to put my name out there. I did things for free a lot. Like when you start out with things, don't get upset if you're not getting paid for it, because there's a lot of, people that are like, oh, you want to do this and experience it. Well, I'll give you that experience, but you're new and you don't know anything, so I'm not paying you. And that's really common in hair. It's common in music. It's common in fashion. And I would do a lot of fashion shows for free. For a long time too, not just 1 or 2, for years, because you're young and you're still learning. And even though I was 33, I was young in the industry and I was still learning, and I wanted to get all the experience I could. So you do things like that, and then you start to make, a name for yourself. So then when you're doing it, then you start getting these other gigs that are like, oh, this is a paid gig. That's amazing. And it's the same with the salon. Like, I had a clientele, and then I had to build that up, and then I was able to open up my salon. And, and I still every day I've had my salon. It'll be this year in May, it'll be 10 years. And I still take new clients. Like, I'm not that salon owner that's not receiving new clients right now. Like, I still take new clients, because you turn away person, you're turning away money. right? So it's constant. Every day you work hard, you know? It's Sunday and we're working. And when I'm done here, I'm going to go home and I'm going to work more, you know? But it's Sunday, so I'm not in the studio. So that's kind of nice. I'm able to do it from home. But, you know, like you take your time here and there for your own pleasure, and then you just work a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I honestly feel that. And when I hear people like, because what I can notice, like the common pattern from friends and family that are around my age or younger than me, it's like society has this image that they paint. It's like, okay, if you do these steps right, then you're going to have, at this time in your life, you're going to have this and that. But also people need to understand that in life, you can plan in how much you want to plan how your life will go, but life has its own plans in store for you. And eventually what you think is right for you won't be right for you in like the long run. So I feel like a lot of people, they think that if they go to school for maybe like 10, 15 years, and then when they get out of school, then right away they're going to find the job, you know, and then they're going to be in the office, like you said, like have the windows and the rooms. But a lot of people, and statistically it shows that when you finish college or university, it takes the average person around like five years or more to work in their field. So that translates for anything in life. Like if you want to be a hairdresser or you want to work in the entertainment business or anything, especially when you're trying to be your own boss, it's going to take even more longer because you have to build your reputation. Like you start off with no reputation, and building your reputation takes time. So I feel that it's very true. And I admire anyone who goes outside the box. And especially when you're like 32 and then you decide to switch your career. Usually some people will settle, you know, they don't like their job, but they settle in life and then they become so miserable. So I feel that the step that you took to like 32 to like, you're like, okay, I'm not happy and I'm going to change it, instead of just like living in the misery. I don't see a lot of adults doing that. So it's very interesting to because I thought you did that when you were young. I thought you just started out being a hairdresser all the time, and then that's what you wanted. But then you told me you were in the entertainment industry, and then I was just like, oh, whoa, that's insane.
Yeah, it was. I've been working for a long time. My parents both had their own businesses, so I started working for my dad when I was 13. And it was fine because it was like a part-time weekend job and it was my dad's business. But I think I started to see that from other people, that they weren't happy working, right? And so you start to see this as a young person. And I'm like, oh, I don't want that to be me and when I'm an adult. I don't want that to be my future. And so I got that advantage, like thankful to my parents. I was very lucky. My parents, they didn't come from money or anything like that, but I saw them work really hard in their careers. My dad owned his own business. My mom was also a hairstylist. She owned her own business. And so I was able to see that working hard will help you get with the things that you want. Mm-hmm. And so I was really lucky to have them as examples for parents. And I think when I was in when I did go to school for film and then I was in the film industry, I was just kind of like seeing the same thing. And it reminded me of when I was younger, working for my dad and seeing other people that weren't happy. And I was just like, oh no, this is what I wanted to avoid, Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't happy. I had one job where I was working on the show and I had one day off a week and it was Sunday, but so there were things that I couldn't do, and then you can't you really can't take a day off in film unless it's really important. So I had everything to do on that day. I had to do my laundry. I had to everything, see my family. It was not really fun at all. And I wasn't enjoying life at all. And so I think, in the moment when I decided it, I think that I kind of like blank out of what the negatives will be and I just go for it. Because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't do it. So you just kind of put your head down and you do it. And like I said, I remember sitting in that first day of hair school and I was just like, did I just do, like, oh my God, I must be mental. Like I have serious issues. But then I was just like, just do it. I'm here. I paid for it. I got to do it. Yeah. And it paid off. Like I'm happy. I have a good crew that works for me. We're all a little weird and strange but we all get along and we appreciate that about each other. We always say that we're the nerds of the hairstyling community because, we're kind of geeky and we're always in the back looking on our phones about like, oh my God, look at this balayage and how they're doing that. And this is amazing. Look at those techniques, but I feel pretty lucky.
So what inspired you to start the dress code project?
I 2.5 years ago had a client who's a transgender woman and I cut her hair. And when she left, she tweeted like a day later that was the first time she had a haircut and felt like a woman. And it was lovely to see a tweet that you made someone feel good. But then it was awful because she was 34, 36 years old. I can't remember exactly. And I thought, and I know that she had been transitioned for a couple of years at least. So I thought, that really sucks that this is like the first time that she's felt like a woman getting a haircut. Like that's not right. And I thought someone needs to do something about that. And then I didn't do anything. And then I realized that no one heard me when I said that in my head. And that no one was actually doing anything about it. So I still didn't do anything. And then a couple of months later, I was just like, this is stupid. I remember how I felt when I was younger and I really did not want to look like a girl. So I wanted to cut my hair and I wanted to like be as like androgynous as I could be. And then I thought about this girl that I whose hair I did and how she must have felt. And so I thought I'm going to start talking to people and I'm going to see if this happens a lot. I started doing research. My lovely partner is super research oriented and helped me a lot. And I have a very, very good friend who is also super research oriented and helped me a lot. And together, the three of us found a lot of information about like folks that needed help with this sort of service because of the same reasons. Like it's kind of become our tagline because we say it a lot, but we say like, look the way you feel. And what we mean by that is like, I'm sure you've probably experienced this. I know I have. Before I was totally happy with my physical look and presentation, I had an idea in my head of what I looked like. And I would look in the mirror sometimes and I'd be like, that's not what I look like in my head. In my head, I look way different, And so what that was like, I was like, how many people are experiencing this? And it turned out that a lot of people were experiencing this. So I started to talk to youth group organizers and counselors and like see if I could talk to youth that they dealt with within the LGBTQ community. And so I would talk to them about hair and they taught me a lot in return as well. And, and it just became this like really symbiotic like relationship where I would learn, they would learn. And then after doing like 2.5 years of kind of workshops and research and all of that, in 2017 of April, I launched the Dress Code Project on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And I sent out about 25 emails to salon owners in the city that I knew some of them I didn't, but I felt like they would be good with everything. And I got some really amazing responses. And it took a bit more time with barbershops because that's a whole different culture on its own. But right away, a lot of the salons in Toronto were really receptive, and that's kind of how things got going.
So on the dress code project, because hair is different, right? There's whole type of different hair textures. Like for example, like there's coarser hair, tighter curls, like type 4C hair. Like that's like my kind of like hair type. So is there also like on the dress code project, is there any salons or barbers that are like well versed in maybe like coarser hair on like the site or that are involved?
We definitely have a lot of stylists and barbers that know how to cut all types of hair. In school, we're not taught how to cut a type of hair so much. We're taught how to do haircuts, and we're taught how to hold the hair and how to hold our scissors and how to hold our scissors and our hands together. And we're taught about texture and wave and density and things about hair, but not actually like, this is how you do hair that is like super tight curl that is really long. This is how you do super tight curl that's short, or really, really, really coarse hair that's straight. Like, we're not really taught that. It's sort of up to you to learn it. And the way you learn it is through experience by doing it. And yeah, there's tons of salons that are really well versed in all types of hair, texture, density, everything, you know, styling, all of it. We don't necessarily list that on the website because for us, it's like, here's where you could go to be in a safer space. And then you can get information off of their website because we list their website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's enough interrogation for this week's episode. I hope that people learn more about you, you know, and your background. I definitely did. I learned a lot. You surprised me, so that's pretty good. So during the ending of my episode, what I do is I ask my guest a awkward moment that has happened to them in their life, and it's called Queer Awkward Moments, you know, play on words because queer, awkward, and black. So was there any awkward moment that have happened in your life that you want to share? It could be present, in the past. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I kind of already shared it. So what I didn't say to you earlier was that the girl that I had a crush on in high school, Jennifer, the first girl that I ever had a crush on, she is currently my girlfriend. And we've been together now as a couple for 4 years. But when I first met her, I was incredibly awkward because I was not expecting to meet someone like her. I was not expecting her to like make me have the reaction that I did. Like it was immediate because she's beautiful in my eyes, and then she's an amazing person. But that immediate upon meeting, like, again, I'm pretty sure my face went really red. I know that I got sweaty and I know that I was just staring at her for a little while, and she said hi to me, and it felt like hours before I said hi back. It was probably just a few seconds, but that was definitely an awkward moment because in that moment I was like, in my head had this dialogue that I was like, what's happening, what's going on? And then I was like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to like someone, you know? And I had all of those immediate, so blood is rushing to my face, and as you can see, I'm very pale. So yeah, butterflies, all of it. That is definitely the most awkward moment of my life. I've had many more after that, but that's like the most awkward and probably like the nicest result of an awkward moment.
Yeah, because now you're together.
So now we're together, and she's amazing. Yeah, exactly. She's amazing. Can I give a little plug for the dress code?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So if you want to find us, we are thedresscodeproject.com. That's our website. On Instagram, it's The Dress Code Project, and on Facebook, it's The Dress Code Project.
Yeah, definitely check them out. They're doing some great work out there. So my awkward moment that I'm like looking through my mind because I have a lot. When I used to go to church when I was younger. So basically there's the audience, and then there's like the pulpit, and then there's seats, right? So that during like that week, I needed to like sit on like the pulpit because I was like saying this scripture to like introduce a prayer. So like while I'm sitting down, like while I was sitting on like the platform and like facing like the audience, I don't wear skirts because I don't know how to keep my legs closed. They naturally tend to just like spread apart, you know, no matter how much I try to keep them close together.
They were both doing that.
Yeah, I know. So I was like sitting there, and then like I tried my best to like keep my legs closed, and then I guess like subconsciously I stopped trying, and then my legs like spread apart, and then like everyone could see my underwear. I didn't know that, but like after when everything was done, like one of the members came to me and they were just like, you know, when you were sitting up there, your legs were like wide open and everyone could see your underwear. And I was just like, nice. That's lovely.
At least you found out after, because I feel like it's not good either way. But had you found out during,
yeah, that
would have been awful.
I know. I think I would die from embarrassment, but...
Did you ever wear a skirt again after that?
Well, yeah. The only time I wear a skirt or dress is every time I had to go to church. Yeah. So it's once a week, and then that was it. But yeah, it was such a challenge to keep my legs closed when I was wearing a skirt or a dress. But yeah, so that's my awkward moment. So thanks for being on the podcast. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was awesome.
It was. So if you want to follow the Dress Code Project, is at the Dress Code Project on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So thanks for watching, and stay awkward.